Hi, and welcome to the Tranquil Cottage Knits podcast. My name is Michelle, and I'm your host. You can find me on Ravelry as Tranquil Cottage, on Instagram as Tranquil Cottage Knits, and you can find the blog at www.tranquilcottageknits.weebly.com. We also do have a Ravelry group. It is not terribly active now, but then again, this is a pretty new podcast. But feel free to join up, and we will get it going. I'm pretty sure that as we grow and get more members, that it's just going to increase and get more active. Again, the whole reason I started the podcast is because I really kind of miss my knitting community, my fiber community where I used to live. We had a pretty large knitting group, and I had been a member for years and years. They were a long-running group, and now I live about 2.5 hours away from them. And so I just really want a happy knitting community, a fiber community here. And this is my reach out to other knitters and other crafters. So I just thought doing a video podcast would be a good way to do that, and to get a community going. If I don't have one right outside my back door, I'm just going to reach out a little further and get one. So, hi, happy Sunday. I hope everybody's had a wonderful week. It was a bit crazy here, as it usually is. It is Sunday, October 1st, and if I didn't mention already, this is episode number 14. So that's kind of awesome. I've seen a lot of podcasts that didn't make it this far, so I'm happy to be doing this. I am out in the backyard at the Tranquil Cottage, as always. Tranquil Cottage is located in the lovely Shenandoah Valley in Front Royal, Virginia. It's going to be a wonderful day. I have my favorite things, my iced coffee, and my dogs, Tucker and Callie, out digging holes in the yard as usual. I've got my knitting, I've got you, and I have a very, very big announcement to make. You ready? It's exciting. It is cold. Hand knit season has arrived. I'm so excited. I know, totally cheesy, but this is the first time I've actually been able to podcast while wearing something hand knit. A lot of times it's just too hot and sultry and blah. So today I am wearing my Wild Goose Shawlette by the very talented, lovely Paula Emmons Feasley. She has the Knitting Pipeline podcast and does the Knitting Pipeline Retreat, and I have not met her in person, but for all accounts, she seems to be completely and utterly delightful. So I hope to one day get to meet her in person. Her podcast is wonderful, and I enjoy it quite a bit. This cow, I'm sorry, I keep calling it a cow because I'm wearing it as a cow, but this shawlette is actually made from Cozy Rabbit Farm. Now, it was Cozy Rabbit Farm when I purchased the yarn I purchased it at Maryland Sheep and Wool 2016, and I fell in love with it. Absolutely fell in love with it. The dogs are being crazy. And I have a picture to show you kind of why I fell in love with it. First off, when I went to Sheep and Wool, I was wearing this hoodie. This is my favorite hoodie. It is thermal, it is comfortable, it is light, but it is still intensely warm, and I love it a bit. So it was chilly that day, so I went to Maryland Sheep and Wool in my favorite hoodie, and pretty much right away, I found this yarn. And put on there says I wonder why I was drawn to this. You think? It almost matched my hoodie perfectly. And so knit up, it still matches my hoodie. I love this. One of my favorite things. So it's just very exciting. And so the cowl is soft and squishy and warm, and my hoodie is soft and squishy and warm, and it is cold enough to wear them. I know, I delight in small things. So since I purchased that yarn, Cozy Rabbit Farm has changed their name. So if you're looking for them on Instagram, they do still have a lot of the same colorways. The dyer has a great color sense. I really love a lot of her stuff, but it is Cozy Colorworks is their name now, and you can find them on Instagram. They're relatively easy to find, and you can get a taste for their color sense. They are really lovely, and so I'm glad they did this colorway because I'd never seen this nice. It's kind of like a nice pale bubblegum pink, but it's got pops of this lovely navy and just tiny individual dots of like a burgundy. And it's just, I've never seen any dyer put together those colors, but it's just lovely and happy, and I have a shawlette and I'm happy to wear it. So moving on, I do want to point out another thing that's going on in the knitting community. And I don't know if you follow So Why Not Designs, but they do have a Ravelry group, and they are also lovely. But last year, maybe early this year, I completed a Buffy the Cold Weather Slayer. And it is essentially a tubed cowl. This was done in a yarn I really love. It's Manos. I want to say Arroyo, but I don't think that's correct. It's in my Ravelry notebooks. I will look it up. But essentially, it's a tubed cowl, and the reason it's so awesome is because you can wear it a lot of different ways. And I want to take off my Wild Goose shawlette. Just to go kind of quickly, it is a cowl. It is a close-fitting cowl, which is nice. But you can also, I will sometimes wear it up on my ears, kind of a headbandy. You can also do this lovely, inside out. You can do this lovely trick where in a pinch, oops, I'm supposed to be inside out. Turn it inside out. You can just give a little twist to the top, grab your twist, pull it back through, and you've got a hat. You can also pull it down and then back up. Give you a little slouch hat. And then on really windy, blustery days, I absolutely love this feature. Put it on, cover your ears, cover your head, and then check this out. Kind of come back down here in the middle. Cover your nose. So basically what it is it ends up being a very versatile cowl, and that's because of the length that you're knitting it to. And so I absolutely love this. It is something that in cold weather I will wear a lot. It's something that in just chilly weather I've worn, and I love it. It is soft, it is happy. Essentially, I used one skein of yarn, and that's it. But again, the pattern is Buffy the Cold Weather Slayer by So Why Not Designs. The reason I'm mentioning this because I finished this quite a while before I started the podcast. So Why Not is having a Buffy the Cold Weather Slayer knit along. So I just wanted to kind of mention that and see if I can pull up the details here. It's going to run from October 1st, so today, to November 15th. And she wants you to tag all of your projects with Buffy 2017 KAL, so Buffy 2017 knit along. There's going to be some prizes, and you just use Buffy the Cold Weather Slayer pattern and whatever yarn you want or combinations of yarn, and on her Ravelry group, there are some examples of what it looks like knit up in different gauges and different, in different yarn weights. But I'm probably going to join in with this one. I don't think I will cast on until I come back from Rhinebeck, but because I have my Rhinebeck sweater to finish. But in the meantime, just to let everybody know, especially if it's anything anybody is interested in, it is a lovely versatile pattern. It was very well written, very easy to follow, so check that out. And again, that's the So Why Not Designs group on Ravelry. So having said that, go back to my cozy colorworks. Oh. It's funny, I see everybody wearing shawls and shawlettes and cowls and everything differently. I usually just kind of wrap it around, tuck the ends under, and then I'm happy and warm. So, sorry, my nose is itching. I'm starting to get autumn allergies. Do you get those? It's like spring and autumn. My nose just itches. It drives me nuts. Oh, so my husband did a thing. This is exciting as well. Oh, iced coffee, how I love you. So my husband did a thing. I was talking to him about his hat that I knit him this year. This is his 2017-2018 winter hat. And it is knit from Knitty and Color. This is the DK in Smoke and Cinder, the Smoke and Cinder colorway. Cinder and Smoke colorway. I think Cinder and Smoke. And Knitty and Color is awesome. Sarah, she's got a Ravelry shop. Check her out. And did I say Ravelry shop? An Etsy shop, which you can link to from Ravelry. But anyway, she's just awesome. And I find that not terribly many dyers do masculine colorways. If they do, then they tend to have a pop of sky blue, or they have a pop of just something pastel-y that my husband is not a fan of. So when I spied this, I thought it's pretty much, he loves orange, favorite color. I find that he is drawn to dark neutrals, grays, beige, brown, khaki, knitting things in beige, brown, and khaki. Just boring. I'm like, oh, apple green, hot pink, you know. I love bright. But this had enough. I've started projects for him before, and it's just so blah and brown, I lose steam. But this was bright enough to keep me happy, to keep me going, and I really like when I look at a colorway and I can see exactly why it's named what it is, and I could totally see cinders and smoke in here, so that makes me happy. So I was talking to my husband about his gloves. A couple years ago I knit him a pair of cigars, and he absolutely loves them. But I asked him if he wanted something different this year or if he wanted matching, and he thought it would be really nice to be able, checking on the dogs, he thought it'd be really nice to be able to match his winter hat. And so I told him who the dyer was. So, well, it's Knitty and Color. She has an Etsy shop. And he's like, well, you know, what yarn would you use? Would it be thick? How thick would the fingers be? And I compared his cigar gloves to it, and told him that thickness is what's happening when you're using a worsted weight yarn, but you could get it down to something like sock thickness if you're using a finger weight yarn. And then I looked at the fingering weight yarns that she had, and she has what looks like kind of a springy, bouncy 3-ply, and then this other which looks like a 4-ply, but it is a light fingering, and it doesn't have much of a sheen. The other one is a 80-20 merino superwash nylon blend, and the other is a, I want to say, 75-25 blend. And so he and I had a conversation about it, and then we just dropped the conversation. And this week, a package arrived in the mail. And he tells me it's for him, but for me to open it. And I do. And he had ordered his fingering weight, cinder and smoke from Knitting and Color, all on his own, and had it sent to me, had it sent here so I could do gloves for him. So that is my carry-around knitting. I've already got started. I'm on the thumb increases, and just using kind of a generic pattern. So he will, I'm sure, enjoy these. He's already squished and made sure it felt good for him, and so he's very happy with this, and I'm happy to be knitting for him. He rarely ever asks for things, except the blasted scarf. He's been asking for a scarf since we met. I hate knitting scarves. I hate knitting scarves. It's something about the back and forth and the back and forth and the back and forth, and they seem like they're never going to end. I think I would probably do better if I knit a scarf long ways. Does that make sense? Instead of knitting back and forth this way for a long, narrow scarf, to knit just forever, like 40 rows and be done. And my brain gets that it's the same amount of knitting. I'm going to end up with the same amount of fabric, so it's the same amount of knitting. But somehow my brain wraps around better that I only have, to knit like 10 inches, 12 inches, something like that, one direction. And I think what that is a lot of times I view getting to the end of the row as kind of a victory. Woo! Another row down. Even though I just really enjoy it, I still look at getting to that end of the row as a success point. And I think that having all of these tiny little rows diminishes that feeling of accomplishment that I get. And then having to do it like every 45 seconds is just like, I don't know. It's, I abhor knitting scarves. I've done it. Don't like it. So he's asked for a scarf ever since we first met, and he's not gotten one yet. I've started like 4 of them. I don't think any of them are more than a foot long. A horrible shrew of a wife. That's our pet nicknames for each other. He calls me his horrible shrew of a wife, and I call him my butt-headed ass monkey. It started out when I was a teenager. I wanted to call somebody a name, but my mom had raised me not to curse. Glad I broke that habit. But I was angry at somebody and just wanted to just let loose with a stream of profanity. And that was the best I could come up with, was a butt-headed ass monkey. So it's a running joke. Let's see here. So what do we... Oh, my Rhinebeck sweater. It's making progress. It is still just on the straight knitting in the round. It is my knit night project, and it is my home knitting project. So I do that when I'm here. If I'm out and about, it's just so much easier to carry something small. So I'm doing his gloves. Oh, I forgot to mention. Best thing, it is in my Freckled Whimsy bag. And when I saw that Carrie Lynn had put these up, I had to get it. These were, I want to say, late spring last year. I'm not quite sure. But the entire thing that made me need this bag so much was the wolf sledding with a rainbow. You see his rainbow tracks? I love that. And then, of course, people getting Christmas trees. That's fun and happy. And then here's somebody carrying their Christmas tree home on a bicycle, on the back of a bicycle. And the penguin is ice skating. And I have rabbit fur from the rabbit. And, of course, a very friendly snowman and all. But what just totally made me want this bag was that wolf. It's a wolf with a hot pink scarf and a brightly colored tail sledding rainbow tracks. So good. So good. Love it. So, if you do not own any Freckled Whimsy, here she is, Freckled Whimsy bags, pick up one. I absolutely love, love, love her bags. They are really actually my favorite. There's a couple different reasons for that. One is her bags, they're pretty sturdy. She has a liner in them so that they're firm but not stiff. Do you know what I mean? And then you can fold them down, which I love, because then it's, oops, you can't even see that. I fold it down, then it's kind of like a knitting bucket. But also the cool thing about it is now my yarn won't get snagged on the edge of my zipper. And she always has such cute prints inside, such cute prints outside. And she is really wonderful about supporting the knitting community. When we had our Worldwide Knit in Public Day event, she sent 3 bags for me to give to winners. And so what we did is we would have everybody as they arrived were assigned a number, and then we did a random number generator, and whoever won. So 3 lucky winners got to take home Freckled Whimsy bags, and there were other little prizes like row counters and measuring tapes and things like that. So it was wonderful, and I can't thank Carolyn enough for supporting our community, for supporting the knitting community. It was just kind of wonderful. So she supports us. Let's support her. So, and I will try to put a note, put a link up to her Etsy shop in the show notes. So today is October 1st, which is, dogs are playing, which is exciting because it means, number one, it is 19 days till I leave for Rhinebeck. And it is 18 days until my birthday. So I'm excited. Oh, I went out to dinner with my friend Darren, who came up from Florida. We don't get to see each other often. We've been friends since we were 5. We went out to dinner last Friday, and he brought his friend along, his friend Mike. And Mike and I have the same birthday. Like, how cool was that? Just to meet somebody random out of the blue. Tucker, hush it. You want to go to bed? Thank you. I say to bed, it's their crates. So if they're misbehaving or whatever, they go to their crates for a timeout for a couple of minutes. So it works really well. So anyway, I can't think if that was everything. I guess it is. I do have a sticky post on the Ravelry group, so feel free to check it out. It is Post Your Happy Thoughts. Just an effort to get everybody to focus on happy things, on positive things, and to share them with other people. Sometimes if you have one of those moments where you can't think of a happy thing, or you're very stressed, or you're very worried over something, just looking at a list of good things, not just your good things, but other good things, things people recognize, maybe some things somebody's recognized that you take for granted or something like that. It's just kind of a good refresher, and sharing happy thoughts is nice. So that is on the Ravelry group. Please feel free to join in, and thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week. I will see you next Sunday. Oh, one last thing. I'm trying to figure out how to post at Rhinebeck. My immediate thought is that I will take my laptop and just go ahead and post that morning. But I was going to invite Becky from the Wrapped and Wool podcast and kind of do a joint podcast with her. Maybe just kind of sitting and talking about our day, talking about Rhinebeck and what we're knitting and what we found and ideas we have. And anyway, how do you guys feel about that? You interested in seeing 2 very enthusiastic knitters? Bug. See 2 enthusiastic knitters talk about their knitting? I am excited. I'm excited. And that's all I can think of today. So, let me know if you're interested in meeting Becky in person on camera. And if you're interested in hearing about Rhinebeck, maybe I'll title that one a little differently. I know some people want to go and they can't, and then they get sad. I don't want that to happen. So, other than that, that's all I can think of. Although I'll think of something else in 30 seconds. But I won't be here to tell you because I'm going to stop the video now. Bye!